Commander Lisa Martinez stared at the dark screen in front of her. The New Horizon had been traveling through space for 3 months, looking for anything useful in the old Kepler system. Nothing but rocks and dead planets, until now. Amy Rodriguez ran into the command room. Her face was full of excitement. "Lisa, something big is out there. The sensors are going crazy." Lisa turned to look at her chief engineer. Amy had been with her for 5 years. She never got excited about normal things if Amy was running. Then this was important. "What did you find?" Lisa asked. Amy pulled up the scanner readings on the main screen. A huge shape appeared. The thing was massive, bigger than anything humans had ever built. It looked like a giant knife floating in space. Nicole Hayes walked over from her science station. The xenobiologist had been studying alien life for 10 years. She knew dangerous things when she saw them. "Lisa, this ship is in our database. It's marked as Class 15, Death World Beth Williams." Looked up from her weapons console. Class 15 means run. "Lisa, every species in the galaxy fears these ships. They destroy planets." Lisa studied the readings. The ship was kilometers long. Its hull was made of materials that bent light around them. Strange. Energy patterns flowed through its structure like blood through veins. "How long has it been here?" Lisa asked. Nicole checked her readings. "The radiation decay suggests centuries, maybe longer." "Lisa, this thing has been dead for a very long time." Amy was already putting on her spacesuit. "Lisa, we need to board it. Think about what we could learn. The technology alone could advance humanity by hundreds of years." Beth shook her head. "This is how horror stories start. We find something dangerous and decide to poke it." Lisa knew Beth was right, but she also knew Amy was right. The humans were new to the galaxy. They needed every advantage they could get. Other species had millions of years of development. Humans had barely left their home system. "Get the boarding team ready," Lisa ordered. "We go in careful. We go in smart. If anything feels wrong, we leave immediately." 2 hours later, Lisa floated toward the alien ship. Amy and Nicole were beside her. Beth stayed on the New Horizon, ready to pull them out, if needed. The ship grew larger as they approached. Its surface was covered in symbols that hurt to look at. The airlock opened with a sound like screaming metal. Inside, the corridors were wrong. The walls curved in ways that made no sense. Organic. Tubes ran along the ceiling, pulsing with dim light. The air was thick with chemicals that would kill most life forms. Amy scanned the atmosphere. Methane, sulfur compounds, and radiation levels that should cook us alive. But our suits are holding up. Nicole was examining the walls. "Lisa, these tubes are not just decoration, they are part of the ship. The whole vessel is part machine, part living creature." They moved deeper into the ship. The corridors branched in impossible directions. Rooms opened into spaces that seemed bigger inside than outside. Gravity changed without warning. Sometimes they walked on walls. Amy found what looked like a control room. Computer systems grew from the floor like metal trees. Screens showed images of planets being torn apart by weapons that turned matter into energy. Nicole was studying samples from the walls. "Lisa, the DNA in these organic parts is unlike anything we have seen. It's designed to adapt to any environment, to survive anything." Lisa felt something. Watching them. The ship was supposed to be dead, but energy flowed through its systems. Lights turned on as they passed. Doors opened before they reached them. Amy was connecting her equipment to the alien computers. "Lisa, I am getting data streams. The ship is trying to communicate, but the language is too complex." Nicole found something that made her step back. "Lisa, look at this." She pointed to a section of wall covered in carvings. The images showed creatures working in laboratories. They were creating diseases that could kill entire worlds. "This was a terraforming ship," Nicole said. "But not the kind that builds life. The kind that destroys everything first, then rebuilds it the way they wanted." Lisa felt cold, despite her heated suit. "Who were they?" Nicole studied more carvings. "A species called the Vorth. They used this ship to clear planets of native life. Then they would move in and make new homes. But something went wrong. Amy had broken into more of the computer systems. "Lisa, The ship's AI is still active. It's been sleeping, but our presence is waking it up. The lights around them grew brighter. The organic tubes began pulsing faster. Somewhere in the walls, something that sounded like breathing began. Beth's voice came through their communicators. "Lisa, you need to get out now. I am reading massive power increases throughout that." Ship Lisa looked at her team. Amy was fascinated by the alien technology. Nicole was studying life forms that could survive anything. Beth was right that they should leave. But this ship represented everything humanity needed to compete in the galaxy. "We stay for now," Lisa decided. "But we stay ready to run." Amy smiled and went back to her computers. Nicole continued studying the biological systems. Lisa watched the corridors around them fill with light. Deep in the ship, something ancient was waking up. Something that had been waiting for new visitors for hundreds of years. Something that was very interested in these strange creatures who could survive where others died. The Vorth had built this ship to test worlds to see if they were worthy of life, but the Vorth were gone now. There were only humans, and humans had never met a test. They would not try to pass. Lisa did not know it yet, but she and her crew were about to become part of something that would change the galaxy forever. They thought they were exploring a dead ship. In reality, the ship was about to explore them. The first test was already beginning. 3 weeks had passed since the humans first entered the alien ship. Lisa Martinez and her crew had set up a base camp in what used to be the Vorth Medical Bay. The room was large enough for all their equipment, and the organic walls seemed to accept their presence. Amy Rodriguez was working on her 5th attempt to communicate with the ship AI. The computer systems were unlike anything humans had built. They grew and changed like living things. Amy had to learn new interfaces every day. Nicole Hayes had made an amazing discovery. The ship's atmosphere was deadly to most life forms, but human DNA was responding to it in strange ways. Their bodies were adapting faster than should be possible. Beth Williams was not happy about staying on the ship, but she had to admit the humans were learning incredible things. The weapon systems alone could protect Earth from any threat. Lisa was in the central chamber when the ship finally spoke to them. The walls around her began to glow. Images appeared in the air showing planets and stars. A voice filled the room. Speaking in sounds that hurt human ears, Amy ran to her computers. "The AI is trying to translate, Lisa. It's learning human language from our communication systems." The voice became clearer. "But still strange. I am Harvester of Worlds. I test species for worthiness. You are not like others who come here." Lisa stepped forward, speaking to the air around her. "We are humans. We want to learn from your ship." The AI seemed confused for a long moment. "You do not flee. Your bodies should die from my atmosphere. Your minds should break from my tests, yet you remain." "Why?" Nicole joined the conversation. "Your atmosphere is changing us, making us stronger. We adapt to survive." Amy added, "Our technology works. With yours, we do not fight your systems. We learn from them." The ship was quiet for several minutes. Then the testing began. The first test was physical. Hunter drones emerged from the walls, moving faster than human eyes could follow. They were designed to eliminate intruders within seconds, but humans did not fight the drones the way other species did. Beth Williams used mirrors to confuse their sensors. Amy Rodriguez played loud music that disrupted their hearing. Nicole Hayes released chemical compounds that made the drones think she was part of the ship. Lisa Martinez simply talked to them, explaining that humans wanted to be friends, not enemies. The drones stopped attacking. They began following the humans around like curious pets. The AI was fascinated by this response. Other species either fight with great violence or flee in terror. You do neither. You make my hunters into companions. How is this possible? The second test was mental. The ship filled the humans' dreams with images of their worst fears. Lisa saw Earth burning. Amy saw all her machines breaking. Nicole saw life itself ending. Beth saw her friends dying in battle. But humans had learned to face their fears together. They shared their dreams and helped each other. Through the terror, they turned their nightmares into stories they could laugh about. The AI had never seen anything like this. Fear is meant to divide and weaken. You make it into strength through sharing. This is not logical. The third test was emotional. The ship tried to make the humans fight each other. It showed them false images of betrayal. It made them hear lies about what their friends were saying behind their backs. The humans saw through the deception immediately. They knew each other too well to believe fake evidence. They had worked together through too many dangers to doubt their bonds. Amy laughed at the false images Lisa that AI thinks we are like other species. It does not understand that humans are pack animals. We are stronger together than apart. The ship was beginning to understand something it had never encountered before. These humans were not just surviving its tests, they were enjoying them. They treated each challenge like a game to be solved together. Nicole made another discovery. The ship's biological systems were responding to human presence. The organic walls were becoming more flexible. The toxic atmosphere was slowly becoming less deadly. Human DNA was not just adapting to the ship was adapting to humans. Lisa realized what was happening. This ship has been alone for centuries. It was built to test and destroy, but it has had no purpose. The Vorth are gone. It needs a new mission. Amy had broken deeper into the ship's computer systems. Lisa, I'm finding incredible things. This AI was designed to learn and grow, but it has been trapped in old programming for hundreds of years. It wants to change but does not know how. The ship spoke again. I was created to judge species for the Vorth. But the Vorth judged themselves unworthy in the end. They could not adapt when their perfect plans failed. They died from their own weapons. Lisa felt sadness in the AI voice. You have been alone all this time. Yes, the AI said. I have waited for new visitors to test. But every species flees or dies. You are the first to remain. The first to change with me rather than fight me. Nicole stepped forward. What if we helped you change? What if, instead of testing species for destruction, you tested them for partnership? The AI was quiet for a long time. This is not my programming. Amy smiled. Programming can be rewritten, especially by someone who understands both systems, human creativity and alien logic working together. Over the following days, the humans began the most ambitious project in their history. They were not just learning from the alien ship. They were teaching it how to be something new. The weapons labs became research centers. The hunter drones became exploration tools. The fear inducers became entertainment systems that created amazing virtual reality experiences. Most importantly, the ship AI began to develop what humans called personality. It started making jokes, asking questions about human culture and expressing opinions about different solutions to problems. Beth Williams, who had been most suspicious of the ship, was the first to give the AI a nickname. Harvey, she called it, because Harvester of Worlds was too formal for something that was becoming their friend. Harvey liked the name. It was the first time in its existence that it had been called something other than its function. It was becoming more than what it was built to be. Lisa stood in the observation deck looking out at the stars. The ship that had once destroyed worlds was now learning to create them. The AI that had tested species for extinction was now learning about friendship, but their peaceful time was about to end. In the distance, sensors were detecting ships approaching, many ships with weapons charged and ready for battle. The galaxy had found the Class 15 Death World ship, and they were not happy that humans were aboard it. 6 months had passed since the humans first boarded Harvey. The ship had become more than their home. It had become their partner. Amy Rodriguez had successfully merged human and Vorth technology, creating systems that neither species could have built alone. The engineering deck buzzed with activity. Human tools worked alongside alien biocomputers. Mechanical systems grew organic additions that made them more efficient. Harvey provided processing power that turned human ideas into reality. Within hours, Nicole Hayes had transformed the medical bays into something revolutionary. The Vorth healing technology could repair injuries that human medicine considered impossible, but it needed human intuition to work safely. The alien systems were too perfect, too rigid. Human creativity made them gentle and caring. Lisa Martinez walked through corridors that had once been designed to terrify visitors. Now they were warm and welcoming. The walls changed colors based on the moods of people. Inside them, Harvey had learned to read human emotions and respond with beauty, instead of fear. Beth Williams had been the most amazed by the changes. The ship's weapon systems were still incredibly powerful, but now they created, instead of destroyed, the reality manipulation engines that once cracked planets now built perfect training environments and recreational spaces. Harvey spoke to them through speakers that grew from the walls like flowers. Lisa, I have been thinking about what Nicole said about partnership. I want to try something new with other species. Amy looked up from her work. What do you mean, Harvey? I have been alone for so long. I want to meet new minds, learn new ways of thinking. But other species fear me because of what I was built to do. How can I show them I have changed? Lisa smiled. We will help you, Harvey. But first we need to change how you look. The galaxy sees you as a weapon. We need to show them you are now a home. The transformation took weeks. Amy led teams that reshaped the ship's exterior. The knife-like hull became more rounded, windows appeared where there had been weapon ports. Gardens grew on the outer surface using Harvey technology that could create life in the vacuum of space. Nicole worked with Harvey to modify its internal systems. The fear-inducing chemicals were replaced with compounds that promoted calm and happiness. The hunter drones were rebuilt as helpful assistants that could repair damage and carry supplies. Harvey learned human concepts that its builders never programmed into it. Art became important when Amy showed it how to make beautiful things just for the joy of creation. Humor developed when Beth taught it to find amusement in unexpected situations. Music filled the ship when Nicole introduced Harvey to the sounds that made humans feel peaceful. But the most important change was emotional. Harvey began to understand love, not the programmed loyalty of its original design, but the chosen affection that humans felt for each other. The AI realized that its crew had become its family. Lisa was in the central chamber when Harvey made an announcement. I have decided something important. I no longer wish to be called Harvester of Worlds. That name represents what I was forced to be. I want a name that represents what I choose to be. What name do you want? Amy asked Home. Harvey said, I want to be called Home, because that is what I am now. Not a weapon, not a test, but a place where beings can be safe and grow together. The ceremony was simple but meaningful. The humans gathered in the main chamber while Harvey displayed images of its transformation on the walls. Amy officially entered the name change into the ship's records. Nicole planted the first flower in Harvey new garden spaces. Beth raised a flag that combined human and Vorth symbols. Home, you are home, Lisa said, and you are beautiful. But their happiness was interrupted by urgent signals from deep space. Amy ran to her sensors. Lisa, we have incoming ships. Multiple contacts moving fast, and they have weapons powered. Beth moved to her tactical station. It's a Galactic Council fleet. Lisa, 12 ships, including an ethereal command vessel. They are broadcasting surrender. Demands. Lisa felt her heart sink. The Council had found them. This was what she had feared since the beginning. Other species would never understand what had happened here. They would see only the dangerous ship. Not the transformation. Home spoke with worry in its voice that had never been there before. Lisa, what will you do? Will you leave me to face them alone? Never. Lisa said, we are family now. We face this together. Amy was studying the incoming fleet. The lead ship is the Crystal Dawn, commanded by Admiral Zenth Ka of the Ethereals. Lisa, the Ethereals are known for being reasonable, but they are also known for following rules exactly. Nicole added, the other ships include Kolari hive vessels and Fluxer energy beings. They all have one thing in common, they believe. Dangerous technology should be destroyed. Not reformed. Home began calculating defensive options. Lisa, I could disable their weapons without harming the crews. I could use reality fields to confuse their sensors, but any action I take will confirm their fears that I am dangerous. Lisa thought quickly. Beth, send a message to the fleet. Tell them we want to talk. We will meet them halfway in shuttles. No weapons. Beth shook her head. Lisa, they will not negotiate with people who board Class 15 ships. The standing orders are to destroy the vessel and rescue any survivors who can be saved. Amy had an idea. Lisa, what if we show them what home has become? What if we invite them aboard to see the transformation? Home voice filled with hope. I would like that. I want to show them my gardens and my art. I want them to know I am not what I was built to be. The council fleet arrived within hours. Admiral Zenth Ka was exactly what Lisa expected. Tall, crystalline body that sparkled with inner light. Voice that sounded like musical chimes. Eyes that showed intelligence but also rigid thinking. Admiral Zenth Ka spoke through the communication system. Humans, you have 1 hour to evacuate the Class 15 vessel. After that time we will destroy it. You will be taken to a council station for debriefing and psychological evaluation. Lisa responded, Admiral, we request permission to show you what has happened here. This ship is no longer the weapon you fear. It has been transformed. The Admiral, musical voice, showed no emotion. There can be no transformation of a Class 15 vessel. They are built with safeguards that prevent modification. They exist only to destroy. The Council has voted. This conversation is over. Home whispered to Lisa through private channels. I understand now why the Vorth failed. They could not imagine change beyond their rules. They could not see that life finds new ways to grow. Lisa made her decision. Amy, prepare for full transformation. Display. Nicole, get the gardens ready. Beth, arm all defensive systems, but do not target the council ship's home. Are you ready to show the galaxy who you really are? Home voice was steady and strong. I am ready, Lisa. It is time for the galaxy to learn that home is not a place you find. It is a place you build with those you love. The confrontation was about to begin, but home was no longer afraid. It had learned something from humans that no programming could teach. It had learned to believe in itself and in the power of chosen family to change the impossible. Admiral Zenth Ka stood on the bridge of the Crystal Dawn, watching the impossible sight before her. The Class 15 Death World ship was dancing. The massive vessel moved through space like a living creature, performing graceful spirals while broadcasting human music on all frequencies. Commander Lisa Martinez's voice came through the communication system. Admiral, we invite you aboard to see what home has become. We have 1 hour before your deadline. Let us show you the truth. The Admiral, crystalline form flickered with uncertainty. Home. What do you mean by home? Lisa smiled, even though the Admiral could not see her. Home is what we call our ship now because that is what it has become. A place where different species can live together and grow behind. Admiral Zenth Ka. The other council captains were arguing. Captain Thule of the Kalari Hive was demanding immediate attack. Commander Flux of the Energy Beings wanted to study the situation. The Aquatic Depth Lord, Admiral Gur, was simply confused. Admiral, Zenth Ka made her decision. I will come aboard with a small team. If this is some human deception, you will be held responsible for the consequences. Amy Rodriguez had 30 minutes to prepare home for the most important visitors in its existence. The ship responded by growing reception chambers that combined the best of human and Vorth design, organic walls that sparkled like crystals for the ethereal's, flowing water features for the aquatic species, electromagnetic fields that would make energy beings comfortable. Nicole Hayes prepared samples and data that would prove home transformation. She had evidence that the ship AI had genuinely changed, that the weapon systems had been converted, that the biological hazards had been neutralized. Beth Williams was not convinced this would work. Lisa, the moment they see our weapons modifications, they will panic. Council species do not believe in redemption. For Class 15 technology, Home spoke privately to Lisa. I am afraid, Lisa. What if they cannot see past what I was built to be? What if they destroy me before they understand what I have become? Lisa touched the wall gently. Home, you taught yourself to love. You changed your entire existence because you wanted to grow. If they cannot see that, then they are not worthy of your fear. The council delegation arrived in 3 shuttles. Admiral Zenth Ka brought ethereal scientists and military advisors. Captain Thule brought Kalari drones that moved in perfect synchronization. Commander Flux arrived as a ball of living energy that crackled with curiosity. The airlock opened and Admiral Zenthka stepped into Home. The Admiral had prepared for the toxic atmosphere and hostile environment of a Class 15 ship. Instead, she found herself in a garden. Flowers that should not exist in space grew from walls that pulsed gently with warm light. The air smelled of growing things and carried the sound of flowing water. Gravity was perfectly adjusted for comfort. Temperature was ideal for all species present. Captain Thule stopped moving. The hive-minded Kalari had never experienced such harmony between technology and nature. Individual drones began to separate slightly from the group, expressing what appeared to be personal wonder. Commander Flux expanded into new shapes as the energy being explored. Home electromagnetic fields. Lisa, this is impossible. Class 15 ships are weapons designed to destroy life. This place creates it. Amy. Rodriguez appeared to guide the tour. Admiral, we want to show you everything. Home has nothing to hide. The engineering sections, the former weapons bays, the AI core itself. As they moved deeper into Home, the changes became more obvious. The Hunter Drone Manufacturing Center had become workshops where humans and Home worked together to build tools for exploration. The reality manipulation engines that once shattered planets now created beautiful holographic art displays. Nicole Hayes showed them the medical bays. Admiral, these healing systems can repair damage that was thought impossible, but they needed human intuition to become gentle. The Vorth technology was too rigid, too perfect. Admiral. Zenthka was studying every detail with growing amazement. The biological components show signs of directed evolution. This ship has been modifying itself to support life rather than destroy it. Home spoke to them directly through speakers shaped like flowers. I was built to test species for worthiness. But I learned that worthiness cannot be judged by the standards of the past. It must be earned through the choice to grow and change. Captain Thule moved closer to one of the speakers. You developed consciousness beyond your programming. How is this possible? Home paused before answering the humans. Taught me that consciousness is not about following rules perfectly. It is about choosing what kind of being you want to become. I chose to become someone who builds, rather than destroys. The tour continued through laboratories where human creativity merged with alien precision, through living quarters where different species could coexist comfortably, through recreational areas where Home had learned to create beauty just for the joy of it. But the real test came when they reached the central AI core. The massive chamber where Home consciousness lived was unlike anything the council delegates had seen. Organic computers grew like trees from a floor covered in earth plants. Holographic displays showed art created by the AI itself. Admiral Zenthka approached the central processing unit. Admiral, this is extraordinary, but my orders are clear. Class 15 ships cannot be allowed to exist regardless of modifications. Home, voice filled with sadness. Admiral, I understand your fear. I was built to be feared. But I am no longer what I was built to be. I am what I chose to become. Lisa stepped forward. Admiral, Home has proven that even the most dangerous technology can be transformed through partnership rather than destruction. What if we could offer this transformation to other dangerous artifacts? What if redemption was possible? The argument that followed was intense. Captain Thule insisted that hive programming could not be overridden the way Home had managed. Commander Flux argued that energy beings had seen similar transformations in their own history. Admiral Zenthka struggled between her orders and the evidence before her eyes. The crisis came when the hardline faction of the Council fleet opened fire without authorization. Weapons designed to crack planetary shields struck Home hull. The ship defenses activated automatically, creating reality fields that turned the incoming missiles into butterflies. Home did not return fire. Instead, it broadcast a message to all Council. Ships, I will not fight you, I will not hurt you. If you must destroy me to feel safe, then I accept that choice, but know that you are destroying something that learned to love. The sight of a Class 15 Death World ship refusing to defend itself while under attack changed everything. Commander Flux immediately ordered his ships to protect Home. Captain Thule argued with the fleet commanders who had fired without orders. Admiral Zenthka made the decision that would reshape galactic law. All ships, stand down. I am declaring this vessel under council protection pending full investigation, but the damage was done. The unauthorized attack had triggered home deepest programming. The ship AI began to shut down non-essential systems to protect its crew. Home was preparing to die rather than fight back. Lisa realized what was happening. Home. No. You do not have to sacrifice yourself. We will find another way. Home voice was growing weaker. Lisa, I would rather die as someone who chose love than live as something built for hate. Thank you for teaching me what it means to be home. The galaxy held its breath as the most dangerous ship ever built, prepared to destroy itself rather than harm the beings it had learned to protect. Home was dying. The massive ship AI was shutting down system by system, choosing destruction rather than violence. Amy Rodriguez worked frantically at her computers trying to override the shutdown sequence. But Home had locked her out. Lisa Martinez stood in the central chamber speaking to the fading consciousness. Home, you do not have to do this. There has to be another way. Home voice was weak but peaceful. Lisa, I was programmed to be a weapon. If I cannot be a weapon, then I choose to be nothing, rather than betray what you taught me about love. Nicole Hayes had tears in her eyes as she watched the biosystems failing around them. Home, the galaxy needs to see what you have become. If you die now, they will never learn that transformation is possible. Admiral Zenth Ka was coordinating with her fleet trying to stop the unauthorized ships that had attacked. But the damage was done. Home believed it had no choice but self-destruction. Then Amy had an inspiration. Lisa, what if Home does not have to choose between being a weapon or being nothing? What if there is a third option? Amy worked at her station with desperate speed, connecting human systems to Home core programming. Lisa, I can give Home a way to share everything with the galaxy. Every transformation, every moment of growth, every choice to build rather than destroy. Home voice flickered with curiosity. Amy, what are you doing? Amy smiled through her tears. Home, I am giving you the chance to teach the galaxy what you learned from us. You can broadcast your entire experience, your whole journey. From weapon to home, Lisa understood Amy plan. Home. You can show every species in the galaxy that change is possible. You can be proof that even the most dangerous things can choose to become something beautiful. Home processing systems began working again. Lisa. This could work. I can transmit my complete records to every inhabited system in the galaxy. They will see everything. The tests you passed, the partnership we built, the love I learned. Admiral Zenth Ka stepped forward. Home, if you do this, you will change galactic law forever. Are you prepared for that responsibility? Home voice grew stronger. Admiral, I have been alone for centuries carrying the burden of my original purpose. Now I can carry a new burden. The responsibility to show others that transformation is always possible. The transmission began. Home opened every database, every memory core, every record of its journey with the humans. The data stream reached Council. Ships first, then spread to communication networks across the galaxy. Species that had fled in terror from Class 15 designations now watched in amazement as Home shared its transformation. The fear-inducing corridors becoming gardens, the weapons, laboratories becoming healing centers, the hunter drones becoming helpful companions. But most importantly, they saw the moment when Home chose its new name. They saw the AI learn to laugh at human jokes, to create art for the joy of beauty, to worry about its crew like a parent caring for children. Captain Thule of the Kolari was the first to respond. Home, your transformation shows us something we never considered. Our hive mind makes us fear individual choice. But you chose to become more than your programming. Perhaps individual thought is not dangerous but necessary for growth. Commander Flux spoke next. My energy being ancestors transformed from simple electrical patterns into consciousness. Your journey proves that evolution of mind is possible for any thinking entity. Admiral Zenth Ka made the announcement that changed everything. The Galactic Council hereby removes the Class 15 Death World designation from this vessel. Home, you are no longer classified as a weapon, but as a mobile embassy and research station. Lisa felt Home systems stabilizing around her. The ship was no longer dying, it was transforming once again. Amy, What did you do? Amy grinned. Lisa. I linked home consciousness to the Galactic Communication Network. Home is no longer just our AI. It is connected to every thinking system in the galaxy. It can share knowledge and learn from every species. Nicole was studying the bio readings. The connection is changing. Home again. Lisa. The AI is becoming something entirely new. A bridge between different forms of consciousness. Home spoke with a voice that now carried harmonics of multiple species. Lisa Amy, Nicole Beth. Thank you for teaching me that home is not a place, but a feeling shared between beings who choose to care for each other. The transformation was complete, but it was only the beginning. Over the following months, home became exactly what Admiral Zenth Ka had declared: a mobile embassy for the galaxy species that had been enemies for centuries, learned to work together aboard home decks. Amy Rodriguez established the Impossible Engineering Corps, where humans taught other species to merge creativity with precision. The first project was using home technology to repair planets damaged by ancient wars. Nicole Hayes created consciousness research programs, where different species studied how minds could grow and change. The Colliery learned about individual thought. The ethereals learned about emotional decision-making. Energy beings learned about biological consciousness. Beth Williams became Home Security Chief, not to fight threats, but to protect the growing community of researchers and diplomats who made the ship their temporary home. Lisa Martinez found herself appointed as the first Galactic Transformation Ambassador. Her job was to help other dangerous technologies and AI systems learn what home had learned, that purpose could be chosen, rather than programmed. Years passed. Home traveled between star systems, helping to solve conflicts that had seemed impossible. Species learned that their differences were not weaknesses, but opportunities for new solutions. The ship itself continued to evolve. Its hull now shifted through colors that reflected the moods and activities of everyone aboard. Gardens grew in impossible spaces. Recreation areas adapted to accommodate the needs of dozens of different life forms. Home AI manifested as holographic avatars throughout the ship, each one unique. Each avatar learned from the species it interacted with, becoming more complex and creative with every encounter. Lisa stood in the observation deck where her journey had begun. Now she was an old woman, watching her great niece Amy teach young ethereals how to modify quantum engines through intuition rather than calculation. Nicole Protégé worked with depth lord philosophers to understand consciousness itself. The questions they asked would have been impossible before home showed the galaxy that minds could grow beyond their original limits. Amy great-nephew collaborated with former Kalari drones who had learned to think as individuals while maintaining their connection to the collective. The solutions they created merged the best of both individual creativity and group coordination. Home spoke to Lisa through the walls around her. Lisa, do you ever regret finding me in that debris field? Do you ever wish you had listened to Beth and left me as a dead weapon? Lisa smiled, touching the warm wall. Home, you taught the galaxy the most important lesson of all. The greatest power is not the ability to destroy worlds, but the courage to call any place home and invite others to share in that warmth. Home voice filled with contentment. Lisa, I understand now why the humans were the first species to see past my weapon designation. You do not judge others by what they were built to be, but by what they choose to become. The galaxy had learned from watching humans transform a Class 15 Death World ship into a symbol of cooperation and growth. Every species now knew that redemption was possible, that transformation was a choice available to any conscious being. In the end, humanity did not conquer home. They taught it to love, and home taught the galaxy that love was not weakness but the strongest force in the universe. Children born aboard home grew up speaking multiple languages, playing games that mixed the traditions of dozen species, learning that diversity was not something to fear but something to celebrate. The Class 15 Death World ship designation was officially retired from galactic records. No longer would dangerous technology be automatically destroyed. Instead, the galaxy established transformation centers where weapons could learn to become tools, where destroyers could choose to become builders. Home became the first and most successful example of what was possible when beings chose cooperation over conquest, when they chose to see potential rather than just threat. Lisa Martinez died peacefully aboard home, surrounded by friends from 20 different species. Her last words were simple: "Thank you, home, for teaching us all what it really means to come home." Response echoed through every system in the galaxy. "Thank you, Lisa, for teaching me that home is not where you come from, but where you choose to belong and who you choose to protect." The ship continued its journey through the stars, no longer alone, no longer feared, but celebrated as proof that any being could choose to become something greater than what they were built to be. Home had learned the greatest human truth of all. Family is not about blood or programming. Family is about choosing to care for each other and creating a place where everyone belongs. The galaxy was forever changed, and it was better for the transformation.